Donald Trump's battle to save Brexit is now revealed in full. Hello everyone, this is Andre Walker. Thank you so much for watching this show. Please do subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. It's the best way to absolutely guarantee you get all of my videos as soon as they are released. Well. The US election is entering the last couple of weeks, just as the Conservative election enters its final phase, and indeed the implosion of the Labour government under that evil communist, Kier Starmer, is almost complete. But what are we going to see when we look at the wreckage of the Conservative Party, the wreckage of the Labour Party, and indeed these awful devolved governments and indeed executive agencies which have done so much harm to Britain? Well, what we now see is a House of Lords that is so infested with Europhiles that honestly, I think the European Parliament is more Eurosceptic than it. And of course, a Labour Party which is so divorced from the ordinary working people of this country, but is so predominant that it wants to force through a pro-European stance. What I'm going to do in this, I'm going to explain to you, first of all, what the Labour Party is doing to push forward a return to European membership, what Donald Trump is doing to push back against it, and where I think the battle lines are drawn. But believe me, if Donald Trump does not step in now, Britain will rejoin the European Union. So first of all, I'm going to teach you about two things. They're called gold plating and regulatory alignment. Gold plating is very simply this. You'll remember the metric martyr. Do you remember the metric martyr, the chap who tried to sell things in both pounds and ounces and kilograms and grams, and he was told that it was a criminal offence to sell things in pounds and ounces? Well, that is, of course, absolute rubbish. But the reason why he was told that is because gold plating had taken place. So the rules in Brussels said that he had to sell in grams and kilograms. The gold plating was Whitehall officials saying that they wanted to interpret that as you couldn't sell in pounds and ounces, even if you express the figure in grams and kilograms as well. Now, there has been a lot of gold plating. So what you have to understand is the United Kingdom has more regulation than the EU, even though those are EU regulations. The second thing is regulatory alignment. Kier Starmer has now announced that what he's going to do is continue to follow all of the EU's rules. So what happens is this. This is the real sneaky trick. When the European Parliament passes legislation, the British Parliament will pass identical legislation. And so, of course, Kier Starmer will be able to say in a few years, well, come on, we follow all the EU rules anyway. Let's not be rule takers, let's be rule makers. And that will be the argument for rejoining the EU. Now, I don't think Kemi Badenoch and certainly Robert Jenrick are bad people, but the Conservative Party is so down in the dumps now. Who is going to stand up and oppose this? Well, let me tell you a little bit about Donald Trump. Donald Trump's mother was from Lewes in Scotland. Donald Trump only has had 2 political jobs ever. Everybody can name presidents of the United States of America, but what is the other one? It's actually a business ambassador for the government of Scotland. Yes, that's right. Donald Trump previously was an employee of the government of Scotland. He's entitled to Scottish citizenship, or rather British citizenship, through multiple means. His mother, through being an investor, and also from having long-term connections with the country. But he has always said that when he wants to have fair trade across the world, it has to be on a regulatory parity. So you can't end up in a situation where Mexican workers are going to undercut American workers. That's why he offered Britain the best trade deal. You will remember Barack Obama saying that Britain would be back of the queue, obviously referencing the way that we use a slightly different word to America. Well, of course, Donald Trump said, believe me, Britain will be the front of the line. He wanted America and the United Kingdom to have the best trade deal ever. And that's why you've seen the political left attacking chlorine chicken. By the way, they put the chicken in the chlorine to avoid salmonella, and it's no more chlorinated than a swimming pool is. Oh, and by the way, all the salad that comes from Germany is also washed in chlorine water that's exactly the same. But the reason that they were fighting so hard is they do not want to do two things. Number one, for Britain to open up its car market to the United States of America, companies like Ford. Number two, they don't want to open up Britain's food market to the United States of America because cheap food will flood in and the European Union will be damaged as a result. And thirdly, what they really, really don't want to do is they don't want the United States of America to have access to the UK financial sector because that will make it impossible for them to destroy Britain's financial services sector because it will be so strong. If Donald Trump gets into the White House, he has said that he will step in and protect Brexit. He has said that he will open up this trade deal. He already begged Theresa May. He said, I want you to have the best trade deal of them all. And she refused on the grounds, oh, God knows, on the grounds of what? What was Theresa May even doing? But Donald Trump said he will step in. It will reinvigorate US manufacturing with a new base. It will reinvigorate, well, it won't reinvigorate, it will bring about new markets for American farmers. And of course, it will also open up the UK financial services sector to more and more. Donald Trump has begged us to do it. We are the people that oppose this, but do not listen to all of this nonsense that you will hear about American food being dangerous. How many of you have been to Florida and came back having been food poisoned? It's just absolute nonsense. We have now got Donald Trump heading into the White House. And by the way, I think he's going to win. And I'll tell you why. Because the Electoral College, you have to remember, it's something like, forgive me if the maths isn't right, but the population of the top 4 biggest US states is more than the bottom 25 all put together. So they have this Electoral College system. It's really easy to understand. All you do is you take the total number of congressmen and add 3, being the 2 senators and the governor. They don't send those people now to the Electoral College. But what that means is, it means that you can't just win in the big states. You have to win in some big states and some small states. And that's why I believe that Donald Trump will win the election. And he will be back to the United Kingdom talking about that trade deal. Now, I think when we make the case for the trade deal, when he makes the case for the trade deal, we're going to be in a position where Brexit will be saved. Because otherwise, what's going to happen is what they're doing right now, having none of the advantages of the transatlantic free trade deals that Brexit can bring about, but all of the bad bits, the gold plating, the regulatory alignment, paying off for all sorts of things. What about our idea that Kier Starmer had, where we're taking our fair share of European migrants? So that means we'll take the small boat people from France and we'll take a percentage of people who came into Italy. Watch out, by the way. Kier Starmer started to talk about legitimate and illegitimate migrants. I bet you the illegal migrants that come to Italy but are transferred to the UK under the scheme will be now called legitimate migrants in order to disguise the true number of people coming to the country. Brexit is in trouble, but I believe Donald Trump will win the election. And when he does, we are going to have a renaissance for Anglo-American relations. And you know what we might even do? We might even be able to save Canada as well, though I have to say that's going to be a little bit difficult to do. Anyway, thank you so much. By the way, please do comment below, and please do like my videos, and also hit the bell notification icon, because it's the only way you absolutely guarantee to get all my videos as soon as they are released. Thank you so much for the support for the channel. I think we're on about 100,000 views after 48 hours. Until next time, goodbye.